Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology? Tech It Out can help make some sense of it all. Breaking down geek speak into street speak, technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman covers consumer technology each week for every listener. Mark tackles the latest news, reviews, and how-tos to help you understand what's hot, what's not, and why.
Hey everyone, welcome to Tech It Out. This is episode 309, if you're keeping track. My thoughts are with those affected by the wildfires this past week, especially in Maui. But did you know there are 12 other states reporting fires right now? And in Canada, it's bad too, especially in the west and in the north. Thinking about you and your safety, please take care out there. If you want to Google my name, Mark Saltzman, I'll spell it in a moment. I wrote an article with a checklist on ways to reduce the odds of a wildfire, a regular house fire, and floods and hurricanes affecting your home, its contents, and most importantly, your family, and how tech can play a role as well. So do a web search for USA Today and my name, Mark Saltzman, MarkSaltzman, and a word like wildfire or flood, and you'll see the article I wrote. I hope you find it helpful. All right, we're entering the third week of August, which means back to school time for most of the country. So I'm going to share some tech ideas for students, from affordable smartphones and laptops to printers that don't require expensive cartridges, thank goodness, to monitors for your dorm room and much more. Later on in the show, by the way, and speaking of school, I'll share some tech tips for students to saving money, protecting your internet access with a VPN or virtual private network, and a lot more. Now, in between these two school-related segments, we have two guests. First, we'll learn what a Razzall is. It's a way to group purchase an item. Don't call it a raffle, it's a Razzall, I think is their tagline. And also on the show, we'll catch up with renowned photographer Vanelli about using AI to fix up your photos and videos. All of this and more on an all-new Tech It Out, powered by Asus, which I'll tell you more about in around 60 seconds from now. So let's kick things off. All right, it's back to school time, and with that, kids today will no doubt need some technology. So I've got about a half dozen suggestions ranging in price. So depending on your budget, I think there's going to be something here for you. So if you want to jot this down, or hit me up on my website, marksaltzman.com. If you want a list, again, it's marksaltzman.com. All right, let's start off with Chromebooks. They offer a lot of bang for the buck. In fact, starting at only $299, the Asus Chromebook Flip 14 doesn't just have a touchscreen display, so you can use your fingertips instead of a mouse and keyboard if you prefer, or a digital pen, but that screen is on a 360-degree hinge as well, so you can flip it around and use it like a tablet if you prefer. It also has a front-facing camera for video calling, lots of local storage, a good processor, and long battery life as well. Has a lean, fast, and secure Chrome operating system. It supports countless apps, including Google Classroom and Code Academy. Those are popular tools, no doubt. And for some fun and even STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math, Chromebooks can now play Minecraft, the best-selling game of all time. So a little bit of fun perhaps after school as well. It's thin and light. It's got multiple ports along the side, and other great features, again, for that price is fantastic. So that's Chromebook as a platform. That's the Asus Chromebook Flip 14 at just $299. And a must-have laptop accessory for any computer is the My Passport drive from WD. This is reliable external storage to hold all your files, photos, videos, and more. Not only are these external drives small and light, less than the size of a deck of cards for sure, and they get their power from the laptop itself, so you don't need to plug it into the wall, but they have capacity up to 5 terabytes, which is huge. That's a lot of files. I think I've got 29 years worth of articles in my documents folder for all the years that I've been a journalist, and it's barely 16 gigabytes. So we're talking 1,000 gigabytes for 1 terabyte, and this has up to 5 times that. You do not have to pay a service fee like a subscription cost for a cloud provider. If the internet is down, you still have access to your data. There's so many benefits to local offline storage. The My Passport drives from WD start at $79, and there are back to school sales all the time as well. Next up, an affordable smartphone for students, the Pixel 7a. It is the most advanced A-series phone from Google. It does not skimp on features at all, but it is about half the price or a third of the price of some other premium smartphones in the market. But again, it's packed with power with a custom processor. It's got an exceptional camera that takes amazing photos and videos, even in low light conditions. And there's AI from Google for advanced spam protection, car crash detection, heaven forbid, and smart audio to text transcription. Yes, there's a built-in app that doesn't just record the lecture from, say, a teacher or professor, but will transcribe it into text before your eyes. Awesome stuff. Again, Pixel 7a is only $499, and I've seen it for as low as $444 from bestbuy.com. An exceptional mid-range smartphone that has many premium features as added value. And of course, access to the Google Play Store with a couple of million downloads for some fun and games and productivity apps as well. All right, let's keep moving on with some recommended back-to-school tech picks for students and their families. How about a pair of printers? So the first is the Epson EcoTank 2850. This is an essential tool for a student, I'd argue, of any age and their families. It's a wireless printer, scanner, and copier. But you're thinking, so what, right? There's so many of those on the market today. But the EcoTank 2850 is a cartridge-free solution that includes up to 2 years worth of ink out of the box. They're in bottles that you'll see in the box, and you can pick them up when the time is right. I'll get to that in a moment. But we're talking up to 5,000 pages in black or color. So you're not running out of ink at the most inopportune times, which always used to happen to me. Again, up to 2 years worth of ink. Now, when it is time to refill them, they're inexpensive and easy to use bottles that snap onto the ink tanks built into the EcoTank. You just match the color, twist it on, fills it up, and then stops automatically. I've been using EcoTank for years, swear by it. The ET2850 is normally $349, but I've seen it on sale for $299 now that it's back to school season, so definitely take advantage of that. Another great printer or family of printers for students would be the Instax family of photo printers from Fujifilm. They let you wirelessly and instantly print real film photos from your phone to decorate dorm rooms, lockers, and binders and more. In fact, there are 3 Instax film formats available. There's Mini Link 2, compatible with Mini Film, Square Link with Square Film, and Link Wide for the largest format, Wide Film. My daughter Maya loves these things, so you can wirelessly print from your smartphone real photos to decorate your dorm room or put them around your, dresser mirror, hand them out to friends. Again, put them in your locker. And there are free smartphone apps that let you get creative with things like fun filters and frames and virtual stickers and so much more. Prices start at only $79, and the film is very affordable as well. So that's the Fujifilm Instax smartphone printers, great for students of all ages. All right, let's end off on a couple of things great for gamers, when they want to blow off a little bit of steam after a bad day at school or after a tough exam. For gamers on the go, the Asus ROG Ally is a full Windows 11 PC in the palm of your hand. It's a powerful gaming computer that's got comfortable and intuitive console-like controls built in, and it's at a fraction of the price of a gaming laptop or desktop at $699. It gives you access to popular gaming libraries like Steam, GOG, and Epic Games Store. Plus, you can download other content as well. And you can even connect this to a monitor or a TV for big screen fun, kind of like you can do with the Nintendo Switch, but now you've got the huge variety of computer gaming and all those libraries out there. I'm a big Steam fan myself. And even if you want to get work done, because this is really a computer in your pocket, you can add a wireless mouse and keyboard, especially when you connect it maybe to a monitor in your dorm room. It is a full computer. So I love that versatility of this. Again, it's the ROG Republic of Gamers Ally, ALLY from Asus, a pocket-size full Windows 11 gaming PC. Love it. And then finally, speaking of monitors, there's the LG Ultra Gear 27-inch OLED gaming monitor. It is absolutely stunning. Not only does it have an OLED panel like many of their TVs do from LG, that's for incredible contrast and brightness and color, but for gamers, this monitor has a super smooth 240 hertz refresh rate and with 0.03 millisecond response time. So really fast to keep up with those fast-paced games, especially those who play online. Every millisecond counts. There's a remote that you get with it. It's got great audio. I love that it's an ergonomic monitor. You can angle it in many different ways to suit how comfortable it is for you to look at, especially when you're probably sitting in front of your monitor for extended periods of time. And you can also pivot it from horizontal to vertical mode, depending on what you're doing. So by day, you want a multitasking marvel. So you've got lots of windows open, or if you're working on a spreadsheet or something, you can turn it sideways. But by night, it's a great gaming monitor for PC or console gaming. By the way, it's also the official monitor of the Raptors Uprising Gaming Club for those esports fans out there. And it's also available in 45 inches, which is as big as some TVs out there. All right, the LG Ultra Gear 27-inch OLED gaming monitor is $849. Well, there you have it. A look at some great gear just in time for back to school season, depending on your needs and budget, something for everyone. If you want to ask me any questions about these, you can hit me up on my website, marksaltzman.com, marksaltzman.com, or you can find me on social media. I'm on Twitter or X, Threads, Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and even TikTok. It's Mark Saltzman, again, Mark with a C. For full transparency, ASUS is the title sponsor on Tech It Out. I know I included their ROG Ally and Chromebook in that back to school roundup, and I'm recording this show on an ASUS ZenBook laptop right now. And I've been using the same one, I think, since the show started back in 2017, which shows reliability and longevity. When we return on Tech It Out, we're going to chat with Razzall and learn how you can group purchase an item and how that all works. Stick with us. We'll be right back with more Tech It Out.
Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want. Find the Tech It Out podcast at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Tech It Out. When it comes to buying expensive things like concert tickets or pricey electronics, there's an increasingly popular way to score them. They're called Razzes. If you're new to this space, we're going to learn about Razzes now and how they work with a Toronto-based company called Razzall, where you have a chance to get the things you want for a fraction of the price. We're joined by Joe Rubini, founder and president of Razzall. Thanks for your time, Joe.
Likewise, Mark. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, why don't we start off at a high level, Joe? What are Razzes all about? And tell us about your company, Razzall.
Sure. A Razz is essentially a crowd purchase. Now, what does a crowd purchase means? It means you can come to our website and you can pick any items that we might have listed, whether it be concert tickets or any kind of event ticket or consumer goods like electronics, etc. Mm-hmm. Essentially, what we have is we have the asking price that is listed on the item that is broken up into shares or spots. So let's just say, as an example, we have a pair of tickets that might be worth $1,000. Those tickets, we'll break them up into 100 spots by $10. People, members who belong to Razzall will come to our site and will purchase as little or as many spots as they want. They can buy one spot or they can buy 10 spots. Once that asking price is satisfied, in this case $1,000, that list of participants is then randomized through a third party that's based out in Europe. That third party then will give us what we call a selected purchaser. Essentially, one person will get that item for what they've paid for their spot. So if somebody buys a $10 spot, and they get selected, then essentially they got that $1,000 item for $10. The other participants know that their money has now gone to a like-minded consumer who wanted to participate in this. It's a new and exciting way for people to obtain items and for a much smaller cost potentially than what they would do if they tried to buy them outright. We cater to the people who could not normally, the 99% of the population, who can't afford items like Taylor Swift tickets as an example.
So the idea, I guess, then, Joe, is it kind of like a raffle or a lottery? Because there's no guarantee that you're going to be the selected winner. Purchaser of that product. Is that fair?
We'd like to say it's not a raffle, it's a Razzall. Our back-end process actually creates this crowd purchasing. So essentially what happens is everybody owns a share or a spot in a particular item. Once that item's asking price is satisfied, so all spots sell, then that list of participants is randomized and the one person gets the item.
All right, because I was going to ask, this was not legal for a few years, but Razzall made it legal, and how so? And what would you say separates Razzall from other companies that offer Razzes?
So there are no other companies that we know of that offer Razzes in an e-marketplace. We are an e-marketplace. marketplace. So we have members who are both buyers and sellers, to be quite honest, similar to what you might get in any marketplaces and with some of the big names like an eBay, etc. So essentially what ends up happening is everybody else has helped that person buy that item collectively. They may not get anything for it, but one person does. Today it might be you, tomorrow it might be someone else, depending on what it is that you're trying to obtain through our site.
And it's not just tickets. We've been using that as an example, but it could be really anything, I guess, Joe. Like, for example, if I was gifted a TV and I already have a TV, then I can offer that TV up. It's a win-win, I guess. It's a win for the person who wants to get paid what the TV is worth. And then it's a win for the person who maybe is only one of 100 people. And that's not terrible odds. Yeah.
As an example, we're in Toronto. Toronto Maple Leaf season tickets. We'll be listing some very soon for this upcoming season. And last year and the year before, and the year before that, I believe, we actually had someone who got all 41 home games to the Toronto Maple Leafs. One spent, I believe it was $56 Canadian on our site.
Wow.
And ended up getting a pair of tickets to every single game.
So this is more luck than skill, but you can buy more spots to increase your odds.
You can buy as many spots as you'd like. The chances of you getting an item are clearly stated on the site. Like I had mentioned, if there's 100 spots by 10, you know that you have a 1 in 100 opportunity to be able to get that item. From a skill perspective, we do also have a buy it now feature. The buy it now is for somebody who feels that they don't want to participate in the Razz and they see an item that might be very well priced, because at the end of the day, it is a market pricing. So if there is an item there that they really like, they have the opportunity to take control of the Razz on their own and click buy it now. Everybody who participated in the Razz will get their money put back into their Razzall wallet, because we use a wallet system, and that one person gets the item entirely.
We are chatting with Joe Rubini. He's founder and president of Razzall, kind of like Razzle Dazzle, I assume. This is a platform that lets you pay for a spot or more to go towards an event, like a concert, as well as products. I'm on the Razzall.com website, which we'll plug again in a moment. Is it an app as well?
There's an app as well. It's both on the Google Play and Apple Store.
All right. And then finally, what would you say is the biggest misconception about Razzall?
There is the misconception with regards to it being a raffle. We know it sounds like a raffle. Using random.org, it's truly the best randomization platform anywhere to make sure that we're offering people an excellent, exciting experience and getting them the things they want for a fraction of the cost. And there's one other thing that some people are unsure about is expiry dates. Sometimes Razzles will expire prior to all spots being sold. So people will say, well, what happens with my money? It's easy. All the money gets put back into your Razzle wallet, where you can utilize it for other items that you might find on our website. Or again, you can ask for a cash withdrawal or a wallet withdrawal.
All right. So Razzall.com, Razzall.com. And you can see the different areas for buying a spot for experiences, event tickets, memorabilia, fundraisers, electronics, and more. And you just need to sign up for a free account. You can also download the Razzall app for free from the Apple App Store for iPhone and iPad, or Google Play for Android devices.
Correct.
Awesome. Thanks again, Joe.
Thanks so much, Mark. I appreciate it.
And by the way, Razzall makes money. They make 10% of the sale, so that's how they monetize it. When we return on Tech It Out, we catch up with Vanelli, renowned photographer, about using AI to help you with your photos. We'll be right back with more Tech It Out.
Want to follow Mark? Google him. Mark with a C and Saltzman with a Z. Breaking down geek speak into street speak. This is Tech It Out. Tech It Out with technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. Even if you're not a famous photographer like Vanelli, a renowned sports and portrait photographer, educator, and author joining us right now, smart software may help out amateurs like yours truly, and I'm sure many of our listeners as well, especially when that software employs artificial intelligence, like Luminar Neo, a tool we're going to hear about right now with Vanelli. Hi, Vanelli. Great to chat with you.
Oh, thank you so much. Actually, it's so cool that we're doing this. We just came back from a shoot from Chicago, and we just enriched the lives of so many amateurs. I hate the word amateurs.
All right, novices. Okay, or hobbyists. Sure.
Photo enthusiasts and hobbyists. So
Yeah, and I know that education is very much part of your MO, which is fantastic because you're not only amazing at what you do, and I encourage our listeners to Google you if they haven't already, Vanelli, one word, but you want to impart that knowledge onto others, which I know you're going to do in part over the next few minutes with us as well. So with that in mind, before we talk about Luminar Neo, this software that can help photographers of all skill levels, tell us about you and your work.
Here's what's funny. Photography for me became a necessity. I was a former martial arts champion. I got injured, opened up my own karate school. I hired a photographer to take photos for our demonstration team. With what Walt Disney paid us for this performance, we ended up just giving the check to the photographer. That's how much it cost. So I was like, oh my God. So I started to learn Photoshop and photography on my own and tried to put it together. And then so for my business, that's how I got started into it, fell in love with it. As a photographer starting out, the problem was Photoshop is massive. It's incredible. It's for graphic artists. So trying to learn Photoshop at the same time, trying to learn photography, oh my God, it was a nightmare. But that was 26, 27 years ago. Then it grew. And then I started using my photography, my karate students, and I would make movie posters of them when they tested for their black belts. And now, here's a person looking larger than life. Then, of course, I had a child. Now what happens? Well, my son decides to play lacrosse. Boom, I'm a sports photographer again. He decides to do cross country. And the neat thing about all this is I was able to, over the years, show my friends who are non-photographers how to do the same thing for their children. And so years, later, the kids, that's their biggest memories. Hey, look, my dad took this photo, or my mom took this photo. So the power of photography is absolutely amazing. Now, the trick is, how much of it do you want to learn? Like I took a cooking class as an example. I don't want to open up my own restaurant. I just want to learn to cook better. This guy tries selling me $3,000 worth of pots and pans. I don't cook $3,000. So that's where working with like Luminar Neo, for example, working with Skylum, the company, it was a dream come true because now I can remember what it was like going back to when I first started. And anyone struggling, with photography, they don't have to struggle with learning how to edit. So that I think is the breakthrough with all this.
So we're going to talk more about Skylum in a minute, the company behind Luminar Neo. Just out of curiosity, what do you like to shoot on? I think by your Zoom photo, it's a Nikon. Is that right?
Yes, I do. Nikon. Why? That's all the lenses I have.
Yeah, it usually boils down to that. What lenses you already have, right?
Yeah, your cell phones nowadays, any camera manufacturer is absolutely amazing. Now, I will say I did upgrade from a portrait camera, the DA10, and I did go mirrorless.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God, face tracking and eye recognition, absolutely amazing. No longer, if I'm laying on the ground to do a shoot, I don't have to focus and then recompose the shot to make it look good. Mm-hmm. It does it for you.
These mirrorless cameras are pretty wild. They're more compact than a DSLR, a digital single lens reflex model, and they support many of the same lenses, but there's no mirror inside, so lighter and smaller, which is awesome. And as you said, some advanced features as well.
Yeah, and people say, is it cheating? I don't care. I'm getting better shots now than I've ever had. I'm getting less blurry shots because it's using its intelligence.
All right, speaking of intelligence, now let's pivot and talk about Luminar Neo. This is software for photographers from a company called Skylum. Tell us about Luminar Neo.
So Luminar Neo is one of the first AI editing programs, and it's designed towards photo enthusiasts and those who just love taking photos. It takes the mystery out of editing your images, because no matter what you do, when you photograph an image, if you're photographing it raw, if you look at the back of your camera, oh my God, it looks amazing. You bring it into any computer program, it strips all that information for you. And you're like, wait a second, it doesn't look like what was on the back of my camera. Yes, because it's in RAW. So with the RAW processing, what Luminar Neo is done, it's taken people like my sister, who's a school teacher. She could take photos with her cell phone of her kids in the class, run it through just a simple AI, accent AI, done. And if she wants to get creative, it does more stuff to it. But you know what it does? It replaces the old-fashioned days where you dropped your film off at a kiosk and they process it for you.
And just to bring everybody up to speed, RAW is the format, the uncompressed photo format that many advanced cameras can shoot on. Otherwise, most of us are familiar with JPEGs, which are compressed.
And believe it or not, all your cell phones have RAW in them now.
Yeah, they can shoot RAW. They do take up a lot more space. How does it use AI exactly? Like, just maybe break it down in plain English.
So imagine the engineers for years have watched professionals go through their editing workflow. And then in their genius, that they start to notice patterns. And they, oh, look at this. So in images like this, they always do this, this, and this. So it trained AI to say, hey, if this image comes in, there's a sky, there's mountains, there's water. We'll use Accent AI as an example. It automatically improves your color, your detail, your tone, and your depth. So it automatically does that for you. What does that mean for photo enthusiasts? One slider, I walk into a room, I want to turn the light on, I hit the light switch, light turns on. I don't care how that electricity got to that light.
Right.
I just want to know that when I walk in that room, that light turns on. That's what AI is doing for you. It's going behind the scenes and it's analyzing the image for you. And based on what all the pros have done, it enhances it. And then, of course, it's fed. It's constantly self-learning to where, it starts to see, oh, yeah, look at this here. There's a person in the scene. Oh, let's make sure we enhance their face, their eyes, their lips, their nose. And it does all of that for you. And you as a creative person decides, okay, when is enough? And then you have control, over a quick edit or turning something into a masterpiece.
We're going to continue chatting with Vanelli, renowned photographer, about Luminar Neo and some other tech tips to improving your photos and videos. Stick with us. We'll be right back with more Tech It Out.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak. Tech It Out, hosted by Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Tech It Out. We are chatting with Vanelli, renowned sports and portrait photographer, educator, and author. And he's joining us to talk about this software powered by AI, or artificial intelligence, called Luminar Neo. It's from a company called Skylum, Skylum. Not sure if this is a dumb question. I can understand how software can brighten an image if it's too dark or enhance the colors. But what about if your hands were a bit shaky and the image is a bit blurry?
Oh,
it can fix that?
Exactly. Now, so one of our new extensions, Super Sharpen, it takes that into consideration. Was it lens blur or was it camera shake? So, or motion blur. So motion blur could be, let's say when you're photographing and you hear the camera go click, well, that means your shutter speed, which determines the length of time, it's exposed, is so slow that when you do any motion whatsoever, it's blurry. Typically that happens when people photograph sports. Or the children running around the yard. If you take a picture, they could come out blurry. Or with Super Sharpen, AI analyzes the image and it figures out, hey, is this motion blur or is it camera shake? Or you just need to be universal. And it gives you that advice. You click on the extension, it pops up and says, based on what I see, low, it tells you exactly which one it feels it needs, but you're the artist. You can decide, oh, yeah, it says this, but I want to do this instead.
Can you explain what an extension is for our listeners? Is that like a plugin for other software?
Oh, the perfect question. Thank you. Imagine Luminar Neo is a base platform. So that's always going to be updated. So think of that as like you're the host. Mm-hmm. So that program, you need the extensions need Luminar Neo to run. So any technique or any simple photography techniques and tools are used in Luminar Neo. So that's always going to get updated. So people should be extremely excited about that. That the product is going to be evergreen forever.
All right. So it's standalone software.
So extensions, they're just add-ons. So for that niche photographer, let's say if you like high dynamic range images, then you would buy an extension that does that particular tool. So just think of extensions as add-ons to Luminar Neo.
Okay, so Luminar Neo is itself standalone software. It's not like a plugin for Photoshop or other software.
So the beauty of it, you could use it as a plugin for Photoshop or for Lightroom.
Okay.
Or you could use standalone. And even if you use it as a plugin, you still can use the extensions. That's part of Luminar Neo.
Tell us about this new panoramic stitching feature that's now available.
This is absolutely amazing. There's phenomenal panoramic programs on the market already. Skylum's philosophy is, look, we don't want to duplicate what somebody's already done. So we want to be innovative. What they did, which was so unique, is not only can you do a panorama, meaning take several images, of this photo. Let's say a landscape. You look to the left, take a photo, move a little bit, take another one, and now you have this beautiful panorama. They did it to where you could do it with video. Now, this is why I'm excited. They have a video of a young guy at the top of a mountain, top of a cliff. He's going to jump into the water. They take a video of him running, jump, and splash into the water. That's the video. Now you replay the video and say, okay, I want this frame. This frame, he's running a little bit further. Oh, now here he is. He jumps off the rocks. Oh, here he is, almost hitting the water. Splash, he hit the water. Now you have those 7 images. Click panorama, and it removes everything else. It just has those images in it in one scene. That is the coolest thing that's never been done before. Being able to create a panorama image from a video file, and you could do it with your phone. So think back of if you have children, imagine you have them running into a pool, and you've done this in the past. You could take those old video footage, bring it into the panorama extension, and just pick where do you want it to begin. Good, I want this next scene, and now you have a beautiful panorama of your child running and jumping into the pool each step of the way.
Awesome. And I know because this is radio or podcast, our listeners can see this in action at skylum.com. It's skylum.com. There's also a blog post, by the way, called 5 Creative Ways to Use Panorama Photography, which is very cool. And then before we wrap up, Vanelli, for Luminar Neo, does it require a Mac? Is it Windows-based? Is it an app?
So it's both Mac and Windows-based. You could use it, like I said, as a standalone or as a plugin for Lightroom, Photoshop. If you're on a Mac and you love Photos for Mac, you could use it as an extension or a plugin for Photos for Mac. Our philosophy isn't to change. If you already are doing a workflow with your editing, we don't want to change it. We just want to enhance it and help you fill in the blanks. If you never did any photo editing, this would be a really good place to start.
How much does it cost?
Yeah, so there's subscription models and lifetime. So at Skylum, they realize some people don't want to rent their software. Others just want to buy it. So if you go on, there's different deals each time that they have different sales. You can check it. Personally, the subscription model is what I do with everything I have because it gives you everything, all the extensions and the updates, of course, that come with that. With Luminar Neo, because it's a platform, you have access to all the updates forever. So it's either up to you if you want to buy a standalone or a subscription. Check out the website and see what the current prices are.
Speaking of website, I'm looking at some of your photos online and my jaw is hanging open here. Well, I know you're on Instagram at Robert Vanelli, but what's your website?
Yeah, Vanelli and Friends.
Vanelli and Friends. It's V as in Victor, A-N like Norman, E-L-L-I, and friends.com. Great chatting with you.
Hey, thank you.
I share some back-to-school tech tips opposed to gadgets like earlier on in the show when we return on Tech It Out. So stick with us. One more block coming right up after this.
Follow Mark Saltzman on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want.
Tech It Out is brought to you in part by ASUS. For those in search of incredible, head on over to asus.com/US/radio to tech out their laptops. That's asus.com, ASUS.com. Well, the kids are back in school, and so a few minutes ago, I shared a couple of gadgets, about a half dozen pieces of tech, like hardware, that could help a student and their families out as we head into the new back-to-school season. But now I wanted to chat about some tech tips, some suggestions to help out kids and their families as a whole. So why don't we start off with this? Students have a lot weighing on their minds already, and so protecting their devices and data should not have to be one of them. Kaspersky VPN protects students and everyone in the family, in fact, when connecting to the internet from any device and even over public Wi-Fi. A VPN, of course, encrypts your connection so that you can browse online without being watched. Kaspersky VPN lets you connect to more than 2,000 fast and virtual servers from around the world. There's over 100 locations to choose from, in fact. So you can also access content that might otherwise be limited to you, like a student trying to access their Netflix account while studying overseas. That's a really good secondary benefit to a VPN. Not only are you getting some protection because you can browse the web anonymously, but you can also access content that's local to you in the US even when you're not here. Kaspersky, by the way, works on Windows, Mac, Android, and iPhone. And if you use the code TVNews at Kaspersky.com, you'll get a discount. So there's no space, just TVNEWS. Type that at checkout at Kaspersky.com to get a discount. How's that? Next up, this is an awesome solution for families in need of internet access. It's called Project 10 Million, and it's part of T-Mobile's ambitious $10.7 billion education initiative aimed at helping to bridge the digital divide. It offers free internet connectivity and mobile hotspots to up to 10 million eligible student households across the U.S. T-Mobile has already connected more than 5.3 million students. So what better time than back to school season to help ensure internet access is not a barrier to a child's education. To get started, head over to tmobile.com/P10M, which is short for Project 10 Million, of course, and you can read about eligibility for K through 12 students in nearly 1,500 school districts. Again, that's called Project 10 Million from T-Mobile. A couple more tech tips that can help out families, since money is on the minds of so many Americans these days. Know that you can often find free digital textbooks. You can go to websites like archive.org or download the Libby app, which is owned by Overdrive, to borrow ebooks and audiobooks for free from local libraries instead of buying them. Another great tech tip is to use free apps that will transcribe the teacher or professor's lecture for you, converting the audio into text. So you don't have to waste time manually writing out everything like I did back in the day when I was a student. There are two really good examples, Otter.ai and Live Transcribe, both of which you can find at your favorite app store to transcribe a teacher or professor's lecture into text for you. It's so convenient. Finally, be sure to leverage AI. Many students didn't have this going into school last year, but apps like ChatGPT, which is baked into Bing as well, can really help you out. You know, if you're writing an essay, a book report, run it through that program or ask ChatGPT to help you with a particular subject like history or even coding. It'll help you out, but just double check the work because it's not 100%. But it is a really great tool that a student can have in their arsenal without costing you a dime. That's ChatGPT. To find out everything I've covered today, including links, head over to inthenews.tv or on Instagram at inthenewstv, or hit me up on my website, marksaltzman.com, marksaltzman.com. We are almost out of runway here on Tech It Out. So for the remaining minute or so, I wanted to thank Visa for their support on this weekly podcast and syndicated radio show. We cover cybersecurity a lot on Tech It Out and how you can best protect yourself in the digital age, even if you're not super tech savvy. One part of the solution is securely shopping online. And so I am thrilled about my partnership with Visa on Tech It Out, as they made some significant investments in fraud prevention over the past 5 years, as much as $10 billion to support Visa's brand promise to protect the financial information of individuals and businesses. Zero liability means peace of mind when you shop online or at retail using your Visa card. There could be no half measures when it comes to cybersecurity, which is why the company takes an aggressive and multi-layered approach to combating the rising threat of malicious software and other threats by well-funded and global criminal enterprises. Read more about Visa and how securing the world's payments is priority one at visa.com/security. Hey, I hope you all enjoyed this new Tech It Out show. Let me know what you think on social media. You can find me on Twitter, or X as it's now called, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, and so on and so forth. It's Mark Saltzman. MarcSaltzman. Have a great rest of your day, a fantastic week ahead, and I look forward to catching up with you next weekend for another episode of Tech It Out. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now.